Hello everyone. Today I had a wonderful day with celebrating Rath Yatra festival. Now I'm going to go for book reading. Srila Prabhupada books. He spent a lot of time writing these books. I have to spend a lot of time reading the books. That's the same simple philosophy I just want to apply. Yes. Yeah. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave श्रीचैतन्यमनु भीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना संवितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सगधा श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेमदाय कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतिशे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपीश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावन नमः हे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we'll be reading the chapter Prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit Saved, chapter 8, first canto. So Shri Shuta Uvacha Suta Uvacha Atate Sampari Atate Samparitanam Swanam Udakam Michatam Datum Sakrishna Gangayam Puraskritya Yayuh Striyaha. Suta Uvacha Suta said, this Te Pandavas, Sampretanam, of the dead, Swanam, of the relatives, Udakam, water, Ichatam, willing to have, Datum, to deliver, Sa Krishna, along with the Draupadi, Gangayam on the Ganges, Purushkritya, friend, you went, Striya, the woman. Sutta Goswami said, the translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sutta Goswami said, therefore, after the Pandavas desiring to deliver water to the dead relatives who had desired it, went to the Ganges with Draupadi. The ladies walked in front. To date, to date, it is the custom in Hindu society to go to the Ganges or any other sacred river to take bath when death occurs in the family. Each of the family members pours out a pot full of the Ganges water for the departed soul and walks in a procession with the ladies in the front. The Pandavas also followed the rules more than 5,000 years ago. Lord Krishna, being a cousin of the Pandavas, was also amongst the family members. ते सर्वे विलप्य च वृषं पुनः अप्लोत हरि पादाब्ज रजः पूत सरिज्जले of having offered Udakam water. Survey every one of them will having lamented Cha and Brisham sufficiently Punah again Aplutaham took bath Haripadabj, the lotus feet of Lord, Rajaha dust, put the purified Sarit of the Ganges jelly in the water. Translation: having lamented over them and sufficiently offered Ganges water, they bathed in the Ganges, whose water is sanctified due to being mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. Jai. तत्राशीनं कुरुपतिं रात्रराष्ट्रं सहानुजं गान्धारीं पुत्रशोकार्तां प्रीतां कृष्णां च माधवः तत्र there Asinam sitting Kurupatim, the king of the Kurus, Ratrarastram, the Rashtra, Saha Anujam with his younger brothers, Gandhari, Putra son, Soka Artham, overtaken by the bereavement, Pritam, Kunti, Krishnam, Draupadi, Cha also, Madhava Lord Sri Krishnam. They sat the king of the his younger brothers and the Rashtra. Gandhari, Kunti, and Draupadi all were overwhelmed with the grief. Lord Krishna Battle of Kurukshetra was fought between family members. Affected persons were also family members like Maharaj Yudhishthir and brothers Kunti, Draupadi, Subhadra, Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, her daughters-in-law, etc. All the principal dead bodies were in some way or other related with each other, and therefore the family grief was combined. One of them as a cousin of the Pandavas and nephew of the as a brother of Subhadra, etc. The Lord therefore was equally sympathetic toward all of them, and therefore he began to pacify them befittingly. Vyamasham Munibe Atabandun Sucharpitam Bhutishu Kalasya Katim Darshayana Pratikriyam Shantavyam Asa pacified Munibihi along with the Munis present there Hatha Bandum. Those who lost and relatives, Sucharpitam, all shocked and affected, Bhuteshu unto the living beings, Kalasya, the supreme law of the Almighty, Katim, reactions Darshayan demonstrated. No, Pratikriyam, remedial measures. Reactions upon living beings. Lord Sri Krishna and the Munis began those who were shocked and affected. The stringent laws of nature under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be altered by any living being. The living entities are eternal to the Almighty Lord. The Lord makes all the laws and orders, and these laws and orders are generally called dharma or religion. No one can create any religious formula. Bona fide religion is to be avoided by the orders of the Lord. The Lord's orders are clearly declared in the Bhagavad Gita. Everyone should follow him only and his orders, and that will make all happy, both materially and spiritually. As long as we are in the material world, our duty is to follow the orders of the Lord. And if by the grace of the Lord, we are liberated from the clutches of the material world, then in our liberated state, also we can render transcendent loving service unto the Lord. In our state, we can see neither ourselves nor the Lord for want of spiritual vision. But when we are liberated from material affection and are situated in our original spiritual form, we can see both ourselves and the Lord face to face. Jai. Mukti means to be reinstated in one's own original spiritual status after giving up the material conception of life. Therefore, human life is specially meant for qualifying ourselves for this spiritual liberty. Unfortunately, under the influence of the illusory material energy, we accept the spot life of only a few years as our permanent existence and thus become illusioned by possessing so-called country, home, land, children, wife, community, wealth, etc., which are false representations created by Maya, illusion. And another dictation of Maya, we fight with one another to protect these false possessions. But cultivating spiritual knowledge, we can realize that we have nothing to do with all this material paraphernalia. Then at once become free from material attachment. This clearance of the misgivings of the material existence at once takes place by association with the Lord's devotees. For those affected with the reaction exhibited in the forms of birth, death, old age, and disease, which are insoluble factors of material existence. The victims of the war, namely the family members of the Kurus, were lamenting the problems of death, and the Lord pacified them on the basis of knowledge. Sadhayitva jata satru swamrajyam hitavirhitam gatayitsva shatoragna kachasparsha kshatayushaha. Sadhayitva, having executed Ajata Shatru of one who has no enemy, Swamrajyam, one kingdom, Kita ye, but the clever Duryodhana party, Itam usurped, Gatayitva, having killed Asataha, unscrupulous Ragnaha of the queen's Kacha, bunch of hair, special, roughly handled. Shata, decrease, Ayushaha by the duration of life. Solution. The clever Duryodhana and his party cunningly usurped the kingdom of the Yudhishthira, who had no enemy. By the grace of the Lord, their recovery was executed, and unscrupulous kings who joined with Duryodhana were killed by him. Others also died, the duration of life having decreased for the rough handling of the hair of Queen Draupadi. In the glorious days or before the advent of age of Kali, the Brahmanas, the cow, the women, the children, and old men were properly given protection. First, the protection of the Brahmana. maintains the institution of Varna and Ashrama, the most scientific culture of attainment of the spiritual life. Second, the protection of the cows maintains the most miraculous form of food, that is milk, for maintaining the finer tissues of the brain, for understanding higher aims of life. The protection of women maintains the chastity of society, by which we can get a good generation for peace, tranquility, and progress of life. The protection of children gives the human form of life its best chance to bondage. Such protection by getting a child with the purificatory process of a Garbhadhana Samskara, the beginning of pure life. The protection of old men gives them a chance to prepare themselves for better life after death. This complete outlook is based on factors leading to successful humanity as against the civilization of polished cats and dogs. The killing of the above-mentioned innocent creatures is totally forbidden, because even by insulting them, one loses one's duration of life. In the age of Kali of the present, in the age of Kali, they are not properly protected, and therefore the duration of life of the present generation has shortened considerably. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that when the women become unchaste for want of proper protection, their unwanted children called Varnashankara. Want of proper protection. To insult a chaste woman means to bring out disaster in the duration of life. Dushasana, a brother of Duryodhana, insulted Draupadi, an ideal chaste lady, and therefore the miscreants died untimely. These are some of the stringent laws of the Lord mentioned above. Wow. यजायित्वा स्वमेधैस्तं त्रिभिरुत्तमकल्पकै तद्यशः पावनं दिक्षु शतमन्योरिवातनात्. Yajayitva, by performing Ashwamedhye, yajna in which a horse is sacrificed. Tam him King Yudhishthira Trivihi Three Uttama best Kalpaki, supplied with proper ingredients and performed by able priest. That Yashaha fame, Pavanam, virtuous. Dikshu, all directions. Satamanyo Indra, who performed 100 such sacrifices, like Atunat spread. Lord Krishna caused 3 well-performed Ashwamedha yajnas or sacrifices to be conducted by Maharaj Yudhishthira, and thus caused his virtuous fame to be glorified in all directions, like that of Indra, who had performed 100 such sacrifices. This is something like the preface to the performance of the Ashwamedha yajna by Maharaj Yudhishthira. The comparison of Maharaj Yudhishthira to the King of Heaven is significant. The King of Heaven is thousands and thousands of times greater than Maharaj Yudhishthira in opulence. Yet the fame of Maharaj Yudhishthira was not less. The reason is that Maharaj Yudhishthira was a pure devotee of the Lord, and by his grace only was King Yudhishthira on the level of the King of Heaven. Even though he performed only 3 yajnas, whereas the King of Heaven performed hundreds. That is the prerogative of the devotee of the Lord. The Lord is equal to everyone. But the devotee of the Lord is more glorified because he is always in touch with all created. The sun rays are equally distributed, but still, there are some places which are always dark. That this is not due to the sun, but to the receptive power. Similarly, those who are sent person devotees to the Lord get the full-fledged mercy of the Lord, which is always equally distributed everywhere. अमन्त्रपाण्डपुत्रांश्च सैन्योद्वसंयुतः द्वौपायनाद्विप्रैः पूजिते प्रतिपूजितः. Amantra inviting Panduputra and older sons of Panducha also. Sainiya Satyaki Uddhava Samyutaha accompanied Daipaina Adibhi with the wishes like Veda Vyasa Uprehi with the Brahmanas Pujitaha being worshipped. Prati Pujitaha, the Lord also reciprocated equally. Lord Sri Krishna then prepared for his departure. He invited the sons of the Pandu after having been worshipped with the Brahmanas, headed by Srinivasa. The Lord was also reciprocated greetings. Apparently, Lord Sri Krishna was a Kshatriya and was not worshipped by the Brahmanas. But the Brahmanas present there, headed by Srinivasa, they all knew him to be the personality of God and therefore they worshipped him. They reciprocated the greeting just to honor the social order that is Kshatriya is obedient to the orders of the Brahmanas. Although Sri Krishna was always offered the respect due to the Supreme Lord from all responsible quarters. The Lord never deviated from the customary usages between the 4 orders of society. The Lord purposefully observed all the social customs so that others would follow him in the future. Gantum Kritamatir Dvarakam Radhamastitha Opalebhe Bhidavantim Uttaram Vaya Vihvalam Kantum, just desiring to start Kritamati, having decided Brahman, O Brahmana, Dvaraka Ratham on the chariot, Ashitha seated, Upalebhe saw, Abhidavantim coming hurriedly, Uttara Bhaya Vihvalam being afraid. As soon as he seated himself on the chariot to start to Dwaraka, Uttara rode him in fear. All the members of the family of Pandavas were completely dependent on the protection of the Lord, and therefore the Lord protected all of them in all circumstances. Everyone, but one who depends completely upon him is especially looked after by the Lord. The father is more attentive to the little son who is exclusively dependent on the father. Uttarvacha Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpate Nanyatvad Pashe Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. Uttarvacha says Pahi Pahi protect Mahayogi, the greatest mystic. Deva Deva, the worshipable of the worshipped. Jagatpate, O Lord of the universe, not Anyam, anyone else, Tat than you, Abhayam, fearlessness, Pashed, Yatra, where there is Mrityu, death, Parasparam, in the world of the duality. I said, O Lord of the Lords, Lord of the universe, you are the greatest of the mystics. Please protect me, for there is no one else who can save me from the clutches of death in this world of duality. Purport. This material world is a world of duality in contrast to the oneness of the absolute world. The world of duality is composed of the absolute world is complete spirit without any tinge of the material qualities. In the world, everyone is falsely trying to become the master of the world, whereas in the absolute world, the Lord is absolute Lord and all others are his absolute servitors. In the world of duality, everyone is envious of all others, and death is inevitable due to the dual existence of the matter and spirit. The Lord is for the surrendered souls. One cannot save himself from the cruel hands of the death in the material world without having surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord. अभिद्रवन्ति मामीश सरस्तप्तायशो विभो कामान् दहतु मां नाथा मामे गर्भो निपातम्. Abhidravati, coming towards Mam, me, Isha, O Lord, Sarah, the arrow, Tapta, fury, Ayashaha, iron, Vibho, O great one, Kaman, desire, Dat, Dahatu, let it burn, Ma, me, Nata, O protector, Ma, not, me, Nata, O protect Ma, not me, my Garbha, embryo, Nipatyatam, be aborted. O my Lord, you are all powerful, a fiery iron arrow is coming towards me first. My Lord, let it burn me personally, if you so desire, but please do not let it burn and abort my embryo. Please do me this favor, my Lord. This incident took place after the death of Abhimanyu, the husband of Uttara. Uttara should have followed the path of her husband, but because she was pregnant and marriage Parikshit, a great devotee of the Lord, was lying in embryo, she was responsible for his protection. The mother of the child has a great responsibility in giving all the protection to the child. They are not ashamed to express this frankly before Lord Krishna. Uttara was the daughter of great king, the wife of great hero, and the student of a great devotee. Later, she was the mother of a good king also. She was fortunate in every respect. Sutta Uvacha Upadharyavachastasi Bhagavan Bhaktavatsalaha Apandavam Yadam Kartum Drone Astram Abudhyata. Sutta Uvacha Sutta Goswami said Upadharya, by hearing her Tasyaha, her Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Bhaktavatsala, he very much affectionate towards his devotees. Abhandavam, without the existence of the Pandavas, descendants, Idam Desakartum, to do it. Dharuni, the son of Dronacharya, Vipan Abudhyata, understood. So the Goswami said, having patiently heard her words, Lord Sri Krishna, always very affectionate to his devotees, could at once understand that Ashwatthama, the son of Dronacharya, had thrown the Brahmastra to finish the last life in the Pandava family. In every aspect, but still he is inclined towards his devotee because there is a great necessity of this for everyone's well-being. The Pandava family was a family of devotee, and therefore the Lord wanted to. That was the reason he vanquished the rule of the company of the Duryodhana and established Maharaj Yudhishthira, who wanted to protect Maharaj Parikshit, who was lying in the embryo. He liked the idea that the world should be without the Pandavas, the ideal family of devotees. Tarhi Vatamanistraya Pandava Panchasaya Sayakan Atmano Bimukhan Deeptan Alakshastrani Upatatum. Then Eva also Ata, therefore Munishresha, our chief amongst the Munis. Pandava, all the sons of Pandava, Pancha fire, Sayakan, weapons, own selves, Abhimukhan towards Deeptan, glaring, Alaksha, seeing it, Astani, weapons, who took up. The foremost among the great thinkers, Munis, Sanaka, seeing the glowing Brahmastra proceeding towards them, the Pandavas took up their 5 respective weapons. The Brahmastras are finer than the nuclear weapons of Shrutam discharged. The Brahmastras simply equal the Pandavas, namely the 5 brothers. Maharaj Yudhishthira, their only grandson, who was lying within the womb of Uttara. Therefore, the Brahmastra, more effective and finer than the atomic weapons, was not as blind as the atomic bombs. Atomic bombs are discharged, they do not discriminate between the root target and the others, mainly the atomic bomb. Because there is no control. Target proceeds according without harming the innocent. Vyasanam Vikshatattesham Sudarshanena Svastrena Raksham Vedad Vibhu. Vyasanam, great danger, Laksham. Jatat that Tesham there. Ananya, no other Vishaya means Atmanam, that is inclined. Sudarshanena, by the wheel of Sri Krishna, Swastrena, by the weapon Swanam of his own devotees. Raksham, protection, Vedat did it. Vibhu, the Almighty. The personality of Lord Sri Krishna, having observed that a great danger was befalling his unalloyed devotees, who were fully surrendered souls, at once took up his Sudarshan disc to protect them. The Brahmastra, the great supreme weapon released by the Ashwatthama, was something similar to the nuclear weapon but with more radiation and heat. This Brahmastra is the product of a more subtle science, being the product of the finest sound, a mantra recorded in the Vedas. Another advantage of this weapon is that it is not blind like the nuclear weapon because it can be directed only to the target and nothing else. Ashwatthama released the weapon just to finish all the male members of the Pandavas family. Therefore, in one sense, it was more dangerous than the atomic bombs because it could penetrate even the most protected place and would never miss the target. Knowing all this, Lord Sri Krishna at once took up his personal weapon to protect his devotees who didn't know anyone other than Krishna. The Bhagavatam Lord has clearly promised that these devotees are never to be vanquished, and he behaves according to the quality or degree of the devotional service rendered by the devotees. Yeah, the word Ananya Vashayatmanaha is significant. Where sent person, protection of the Lord. Although they were all great warriors themselves. But the Lord neglects even the greatest warriors and also vanquishes them in no time. When the Lord the Brahmastra, Ashwatthama, he took up his weapon even at the risk of breaking his own vow. Although almost finished, according to his vow, he shouldn't have taken up his own weapon. But the emergency was more important than the vow. He is better known as Bhakta Vasala or the lover of his devotee, and thus be prepared to continue than to be worldly moralist who never breaks his solemn vow. Antastah sarvabhutanam atmayogeshwaro harihi samhaya vrinodgarbham vairatya kurutantave. Antatastaha, being within, serve all bhutanam of the living beings, Atma, soul, Yoga, Ishvara. Samhaya, by the personal energy, Avrinod, covered Garbham, embryo, Vairatyaha of Uttara, Guru Tamfe, from the progeny of the Guru Maharaj Guru. Translation: the Lord of the Supreme Mysticism, Sri Krishna, resides within everyone's heart as Paramatma. So just to protect the progeny of the Kuru dynasty, he covered the embryo of the Uttara by his personal. The Lord of Supreme Mysticism was simultaneously reside within everyone's heart or even within the atoms by his Paramatma feature, his plenary portion. Therefore, from within the body of the Uttara, he covered the embryo to save Maharaj's protection and protect the progeny of the Maharaj Guru, of whom King Pandu was also a descendant. Both the sons of the Dhritarashtra and those of the Pandava belong to the same dynasty of Mara school. Therefore, both of them are generally known as Kurus. But when there were wide differences between the two family members, the sons of the Dhritarashtra were known as the Kurus, whereas sons of the Pandava were known as Pandavas. Since the son of Kurukshetra, the last son of the dynasty, यद्यपि यस्त्रब्रह्मशिरस् त्वय्यमोघचापरिति च प्रतिक्रियन् वैष्णवं तेज आश्रय समसन्नुसाम्याद्भृगुद्वहाम् यद्यपि although astam weapon brahmasira the supreme two but amogam without cha and apratikrit not to be counteracted. Vaishnavanam in relation with the Vishnu. Tejaha strength asadhya being confronted with Sama Sanyat was neutralized. Brigu Uddhavu, glory of the family of Brigu. Translation O Sanaka, O Saunaka. Although the supreme Brahmastra weapon released by the Ashwatthama was irresistible and without check or counteraction, it was neutralized and foiled when comforted by the strength of Vishnu or Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Brahma Jyoti or the glowing transcendental effulgence is residing on Lord Sri Krishna. In other words, the glowing effulgence known as Brahma Tej is nothing but the rays of the Lord, just as the sun rays are rays of the sun disk. So, this Brahma weapon also, although materially irresistible, could not surpass the supreme strength of the Lord. Brahmastra released by Ashwatthama was neutralized and foiled by Lord Sri Krishna by his own energy. That is to say, he didn't wait for any other's help because he is absolute. मामं स्तह्येतदाश्चर्यं साश्चर्यमयेच्युत यइदं मायया देवादिव्या सृजति यवति हन्ति अजः. Ma do not mamstaha think he suddenly ate all this Australian wonderful. Sarva all Australiamaye and all the mysterious Chute infallible. Yeah, one who idam this creation Maya. एक श्लोक का पढ़ेंगे आ जाओ वो फैन थोड़ा ठीक करो ब्रो बंद हो गया अब बात है प्रभु मतलब यू आर वेटिंग फॉर मी कि कोई आए तो मैं कराऊं यस थैंक यू आ जाओ एक श्लोक पढ़ेंगे प्रभु just 6 seconds 1 second is over Ascharya in all the mysterious Achyute, the infallible Ya, one who does creation Maya by his energy, Devya, transcendental. Sujati creates, Avati maintains, Hanti annihilates, Ajaha unborn. O Brahmanas, do not think this to be especially wonderful in the activities of the mysterious and infallible personality of God. By his own transcendentness, he maintains and annihilates all material things, although he himself is unborn. Purport. The activities of the Lord are always inconceivable to the tiny brain of the living entities. Nothing is impossible for the Supreme Lord, but all his actions were wonderful for us, and thus he is always beyond the range of our conceivable limits. The Lord is all powerful, all perfect, personality of Godhead. The Lord is sent person perfect, whereas others, namely the Narayana, Brahma, Shiva, the gods, and all of the living beings, possess only different percentages of the such perfection. No one is equal to or greater than him, he is unrivaled. Brahma tejo vinirmuktair saha krishnaya Prayanabimukham Krishnam Yedam Aha Pritaksati. Brahma is the radiation of the Brahmastra, Vinil Mukta, being saved from Atmajaha. Along with her son Saha, with Krishna Draupadi, Prayana outgoing Abhimukham towards Krishna, Mandu Lord Krishna. Then this Aha said, Prita Kunti Sati, chaste, devoted to the Lord. Translation. The saved from the radiation of the Brahmastra, Kunti, the chaste devotee of the Lord, and her 5 sons and Draupadi addressed Lord Krishna as he started for home purport. Kunti is described herein as Satya, chaste due to her unalloyed devotion to the Lord Sri Krishna. Her mind will now be expressed in the following prayers for Lord Krishna. A chaste devotee of the Lord does not look to others, namely any other living being or demigod, even for deliverance from danger. That was all along the characteristic of the whole family of the Pandavas. They knew nothing except Krishna. Therefore, the Lord was also always ready to help them in all respects and in all circumstances. That is the transcendental nature of the Lord. Reciprocates the devotees of the devotees who therefore look for help from imperfect living beings or demigods. But one should Lord Krishna, who is competent to save his devotees. Such a chaste devotee also never asks the Lord for help, but the Lord, out of his own accord, is always anxious to render it. Kuntivacha Namasya Purusham Thadyam Ishwaram Prakurte Param Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antarbahiravastitam. Kuntivacha Namasya Purusham Thadyam Ishwaram Prakurte Param Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antarbahiravastitam. Kunti said, Namaste, let me bow down. Purusham, same person, Tva, you, Adyam, the original. Ishwaram, the controller, Prakriti, of the material cosmos, Param, beyond. Alaksham, the invisible, Sarva, all. Utaro, Bahi, without Avastitam existing. Translation. Srimati Kunti Devi said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and you are unaffected by the qualities of material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. Purport. Srimati Kunti was quite aware that Krishna's original personality regarded her nephew. Such an enlightened lady could not commit a mistake by offering obeisances to her nephew. Therefore, she addressed him as the original Purusha beyond the material cosmos. Living entities are also transcendental. They are neither original nor infallible. Okay. Such an enlightened lady could not commit a mistake by offering obeisance unto her nephew. You know, right? Therefore, she addressed him as the original Purusha beyond the material cosmos. Although all living entities are also transcendental, they are neither original nor infallible. The living fall down under the clutches of material nature, but the Lord is never like that. In the Vedas, therefore, he is addressed as the chief among all living entities. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. Then again, he is addressed as Ishvara, the controller. The living entities of the demigods like Chandra and Surya are also to some extent Ishvara, but none of Supreme Ishvara are the ultimate controller. He is Parameshvara, the super soul. He is both within and without. Although he was present before Srimati Radha Kunti as her nephew, he is also within her and everyone else. Yes, I am situated in everyone's heart, and only due to me, first forgets and is cognizant, etc. Through all the Vedas, I am to be known, because I am the compiler of the Vedas and I am the teacher of the Vedanta. Queen 20 affirms that the Lord, although both within and without all living beings, he is still invisible. The Lord, so to speak, a puzzle for the common man. Queen 20 experienced personally that Lord Krishna was present before her, had he entered with to save her embryo from the attack of Ashwatthama's Brahmastra. Kunti herself was puzzled about whether Sri Krishna is all pervasive or localized. In fact, he is both, but he reserves the right of not being exposed to persons who are not surrendered souls. This checking curtain is called the Maya energy of the Supreme. It shows the limited vision of the rebellious soul. It is Maya Javanika Channam Agnadokshajamavyayam Nalakshe Mudadrisha Nato Nathadaro Yatha Nato Nathadaro Yatha Nathadaro Yatha Maya Javanika Agnadokshajamavyayam Nalakshe Drisha-nato natyadaro yatha. Maya, deluding, Javanika curtain, Achannam, covered by Agni, ignorant, Adokshadam, beyond the range of the material conception, Abhyayam, irreproachable, not Lakshay, absorbed, Mudha, Drisha, by the foolish observer. Nataha artist Natya Daraha, dressed as a player, Yatayas, translation. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor, covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. Bah, nato natyadana. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna affirms that the less intelligent persons mistake him to be an ordinary man like us, and thus deride him. The same is confirmed herein by Queen Kunti. The less intelligent persons are there, those who rebel against the authority of the Lord. Such persons are known as asuras. The asuras cannot recognize the Lord's authority when the Lord himself appears amongst us as Rama, Narasimha, Varaha, and in his original form as Krishna. He performs many wonderful acts which are humanly impossible, as we shall find at the 10th canto of this great literature. Lord Sri Krishna executed his humanly impossible activities even from the days of his lying on the lap of his mother. He killed the Putana witch, although she smeared her breast with poison just to kill the Lord. The Lord sucked her breast like a natural baby, and he sucked out her very life also. Similarly, he lifted the Govardhan hill just as a boy picks up a frog's umbrella and stood several days continuously just to give protection to the residents of Vrindavan. These are some of the superhuman activities of the Lord described in the authoritative Vedic literatures like the Puranas, Itihasas, and Upanishads. He has delivered wonderful instructions in the shape of the Bhagavad Gita. He has shown marvelous capacities as a hero, as a householder, as a teacher, as a renouncer. He is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by such authoritative personalities as Vyasa, Devala, Asita, Narada, Madhva, Shankara, Ramanuja, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, and all other authorities of the line. He himself has declared as much in many places of the authentic literatures, and yet there is a class of men with a demonic mentality who are always reluctant to accept the Lord as the supreme absolute truth. This is practically due to their poor fund of knowledge and partially due to their stubborn obstinacy, which results from the various misdeeds in the past and present. Such persons could not recognize Lord. Another difficulty is that those who depend more on their imperfect senses cannot realize Him as a supreme Lord. Such persons are like the modern scientist. They want to know everything by their experimental knowledge, but it is not possible to know the Supreme Person by imperfect experimental knowledge. He is described here as Adokshaja, beyond range of experimental knowledge. All our senses are imperfect. We claim to observe everything and anything, but we must admit that we can observe things under certain material conditions only, which are also beyond our control. The Lord is beyond the observation of the sense perception. When this accepts this deficiency of the conditioned souls, especially for the women of the middle class who are less intelligent. For the less intelligent men, there must be such things as temples, mosques, or churches, so that they may begin to recognize the authority of the Lord and hear about Him from authorities in such holy places. For less intelligent men, this beginning of spiritual life is essential, and only foolish men decry the establishment of such places of worship, which are required to raise the standard of spiritual attributes for the mass of people. For less intelligent persons, bowing down before the authority. For less intelligent persons, bowing down with the authorities of the Lord, as generally done in the temples, mosques, and churches, is as beneficial as it is for the advanced devotees to meditate upon Him by active service. Tata Paramahamsanam Muninamalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartam Katam Pashyema Histriyaham Tata. Besides that, the Paramahamsanam of the advanced transcendent, the great philosophers of modern speculators, Amala Atmanam, those whose minds are competent to discern between spirit and matter. Okay, I'll continue from the 20th tomorrow. Thank you all for joining. Hare Krishna. Have a nice day.